Tamron 28 to 300, f4 to 7.1. Look at that, just look at that. It's pretty darn impressive. 28 to 300, I would never say I would recommend this kind of guy ever before, but it's surprisingly good. But let's start from the beginning. Quality, build, design, everything is typical Tamron. So we have USB-C here to update firmware. We have like this weather sealing here, which works pretty fine. I had no problems despite like even today it's a little, you know, it's a little gloomy, so no problems with humidity or anything like that. Everything works pretty fine. I don't know why guys from Petapixel are saying that this is wobbly. I don't find it wobbly. It's totally okay. There's a customizable button here, you know, outside, so you can customize it in firmware, and there is a lock switch here that basically locks the lens and prevents it from, you know, doing that. You know, it's just safe. There's 67mm filter thread, and that's typical Tamron, and I like it because it's consistent across their lenses recently, and that's pretty much it. It's lightweight, it's small, it's compact for the thing it is. So all in all, it's a really good lens. But let's take a look at optical quality. Sharpness is pretty good at 28 in the center of the frame at f4, so that's perfectly fine. In the corners it gets a little soft, I gotta say that. However, nothing dramatic there, nothing to be afraid of. But at 5.6 it is becoming really sharp and contrasty all over the frame, which is pretty spectacular for, once again, 28-300 type of lens. At 300 we have a little bit better corners, so corners are pretty sharp, little drop in sharpness. Center is sharp, but well, 7.1, this is something we would expect that this lens would be sharp. However, having said that, sharpness is pretty good. Now let's talk about distortion. At 28 we have barrel effect, but nothing dramatic, no mustache effect. At 300, well, at 300 you have pretty strong pincushion, which is something expected, but again, nothing dramatic. You can remove it in post easily because it's pretty even, so not a big deal. And you can of course turn on in-camera image correction, and it's fine. When it comes to work against harsh light, there is some flaring, but it is pretty well controlled as for the universal zooms. So it's nothing spectacular, it's nothing great to work against the harsh light, but it works pretty fine. It works actually better than I expected it to work in that kind of conditions. When it comes to vignetting, it's pretty soft and pretty even, so easy to remove in post. So both on 28mm side of things and 300mm side of things, the vignette is not a big deal here. So it is pretty nice, nicely controlled, it is pretty even. Nothing like dark corners there, which I hate because it's very difficult to remove in post-production. But in this case, you know, like image profile, like lens correction profile, basically fixes the problem. So vignetting, not a big deal. Now let's talk about autofocus performance, something that is very important because we have this VXD type of motor here, like typical for like Tamron lenses. It is pretty silent, pretty effective, no hunting, no pumping. It is very responsive on my Sony A7 Mark IV, as you can see here on the sample. So autofocus, I would say 5 stars, really good, cooperation with Sony body. This lens is also image stabilized, which I didn't mention. It does have vibration control, VC, and it's pretty effective. I wish there was a button outside here to turn it on and off, but unfortunately it didn't happen. So if you want to turn it off, you have to do it from the menu in your camera. Just a side point, something to keep in mind. Now let's talk about star effects. And star effects, I think this is the biggest downside of this universal zoom lens. So if you're looking for a lens that will produce nice stars at f11 and you can get like some beautiful night shots there, no, that's not the lens. There's practically no star effect here, which is a bit strange, but that's what it is. And yeah, so no stars. When it comes to chromatic aberration, it is very well controlled. I didn't find a lot of chromatic aberration both at 28 and 300. wide open. There is a little bit of orange tint, but really nothing to be worried about. So if you are looking for a good lens that performs really well optically in that category, chromatic aberration, no issue here, which is spectacular again for this kind of lens. Now let's talk about one thing that I didn't mention before, which is close-up and macro photography, because at 28 you can come really close to the object, even like uncomfortably close, we can say, so you can almost touch it. And the sharpness obviously drops at f4, but 5.6 it is already okay, which is something that I would expect from this kind of lens, because like from this kind of scenario actually, because like usually when you come really close to the object you can get you will see drop of sharpness, but actually you want a little bit more depth of field there, so you would stop it down. At 300 it works pretty fine also, it's pretty sharp. I was actually surprised with its close-up performance. It is sharp. At 7.1 at the other hand you would expect that, and it actually when getting close to the object as close as possible with this kind of focal length, it actually loses the blurs the background really nice. So actually that might be a use case scenario that you might like. When it comes to bokeh, because like we are starting to move toward that category, bokeh is a little bit messy. It's nothing really wrong with the bokeh. There's a cut-eye effect, not a big deal with onion rings or anything like that, but bokeh is not the most beautiful out there, but that's something that you normally expect from a super universal lens. However, when you get some portrait shots, you can get some blurry background, specifically if you come closer to your object. But if you're thinking of portraits like from here or here, there's not much of blurry background unless you go really far from your object. At 300 you can get some blurry background and nice smooth out of focus parts of picture. So that's bokeh. In general, all in all, working with this lens was a pleasure. It's a very nice performing lens, and I was surprised how well optics can get with such a universal zoom lens. However, it is pretty dark because we have f4 to f7.1, and that's something to think, because there is some competition out there in the market. Tamron's own 28 to 200 is brighter, and there's also very good Sony 24 to 240, which is a little heavier, a little of course pricier, and a little shorter, but at the other hand you have to think for yourself if 28 at the beginning is enough for you, or you prefer 24 millimeters. So there is a competition, so I'm really curious how this lens, how popular will this lens be. However, if you want to go for a long trip and you don't really want to touch anything with your lenses, you don't want to change the lens, you want to stay with one lens on your body, this thing can be a lot of fun. This thing can cover you in a lot of situations, and this 300 gives you some extra reach, and I actually enjoyed using it because it's something unique, something you don't meet every day. I hope you guys like this review, so please leave thumbs up, subscribe, it helps me a lot to continue to carry on with this kind of reviews, and let me know in the comments below which of super zoom lenses is your favorite, and would you be considering to buy one of these, or you may just think, okay, it's nice to have it, but bye-bye, I'm not going to buy it. Okay, see you in the next one, and I wish you a nice day.